Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Monday, the 17th day of December. It is a movie star Monday. We'll talk with Kevin Sorbo once again, but it's also National Maple Syrup Day. It is Wright Brothers Day. They're the flying guys. And then we also have a quote from Mark Twain. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex. Breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. I agree with that.
That's good advice.
Break your complex and your complex tasks. All right. We have a movie star.
It's a Monday.
It is. It's a movie star Monday. Kevin Sorbo, we talked to him last week, and we're going to talk to him again. He's got a Christmas movie. I've actually got the DVD right here. I still have it from last week. Christmas Dreams. He was the narrator on this. He's also got a new movie out. It's called Bernie the Dolphin. We're going to chat about that. A lot of fun stuff. It's all on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix, TIX.org.
Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Heidi, tell me, what do you think? Is it a golf course or a rehab center? The Champions in Omaha, Kentucky. The Champions, Omaha, Kentucky. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center?
I'm going to say golf course.
It is a golf course. Golf clap for Heidi. Good job. You did really good. You're doing really well on this.
Thank you.
We've got your brain
I
on.
only wish there was some sort of a reason.
You just won a prize. You get a trail mix
I get
bar.
a granola bar.
She brought that to me. I'm going to ask for that back when we take a break here. The Brain on Drugs is coming up. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. Timeforrehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com. And this is your Brain on Drugs. According to an accident report, a Nebraska man was arrested for a DUI, and he told police that he was driving, quote, like Ace Ventura when he crashed his car into a tree early Saturday morning. You know what that means, right?
With his head hanging out the window?
Yes. 26-year-old Rocky Dumayas, Dumayas, and I online have seen all kinds of jokes about him being a Dumayas. He was behind the wheel of a Buick registered to his mama. At the time of the 1 a.m. crash, investigators say his car veered off the road and struck and uprooted a tree in front of a yard.
Oh, my gosh.
He hit it pretty good. Then he struck a nearby retaining wall. He then left the scene of the accident. He was taken into custody, processed for a DUI. He told cops that he crashed the Buick due to an inoperable windshield wiper, which forced him to, quote, drive like Ace Ventura. Yeah, it's a bad idea.
That's
Just
don't
do
very,
that.
very bad idea.
DUI, careless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, possession of drug paraphernalia, and driving with a suspended license. Mm-hmm. Blood alcohol content was 0.137. That's pretty high. They say that both alcohol and drugs played a part in the crash. So there you go. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, Universal Music announced that Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen is now the most streamed song of the 20th century. Now, it had already been pretty popular. It was a very popular song when it came out, and then it was popular again in the 90s when the movie Wayne's World came out. Mm-hmm. And then it was popular again, I think maybe
I don't think it's ever not been popular, has it? I mean,
it is now really popular because of the new movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, but it is now the most streamed song of the 20th century. The most streamed program of the 20th century, believe it or not, The John and Heidi Show.
Really?
No,
That's
not really.
Fantastic.
not even close. There's not really a list, but if there was, we wouldn't get it. Former Spice Girl Mel B had to have emergency surgery after breaking 2 ribs and cutting her hand. She's also on, is it America's Got Talent? Is that the one? On one of those shows.
I don't know.
She's on one of, I don't know. Oh, it's The Voice? I don't know what it is. X
Anyway,
Factor?
I don't know.
It's
One of those.
one of those shows we don't watch. But she's on the little screen for that. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Now your scoop of the day brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Some stories are like the funniest jokes ever. They just write themselves. Like, take a listen to this one, for example. The owners of High Times magazine are delaying a public stock offering again after missing the deadline for a second time. It's almost like they just sit around the office smoking weed all day. Like, hey, did you do that? Oh, dude, I thought you were doing that. I didn't do it. Where's Mike? I don't know. Mike doing it? Mike hasn't worked here for 6 months. He hasn't? I'm just imagining how things went there. I don't know. But second time they missed the debt. Would you be interested in investing in that now?
No.
If I were a person who, I wouldn't have invested in it before. But if I was even thinking, if it was on my short list, I'd be going, do I really want to place my investment in the hands of people who can't even hit a deadline? Not once, but twice. All right. A study found that 7 in 10 U.S. teenagers do not get enough sleep, which raises the risk of drug use and suicide. Because they're awake, I have more time to do that. So I think get more sleep is the moral of that story. A study by the University of Bath from England found that using a stand-up desk at work does not burn more calories than sitting down. Well, I'm going to have to cancel my order.
But it's better for your circulation and your posture. There are a lot of health benefits.
We've
not
been
necessarily
told that.
Burning calories, but it is better for you to stand.
According to Heidi, but this study says that it's not as good as everybody's been saying it is. So I don't know. Do I believe Heidi or do I believe a study from Bath, England? It's kind of a toss-up.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, I just put you on the same level as them.
Ooh.
That's a good thing. A former Miss Kentucky has been fired from her teaching job after she sent naked pictures to a 15-year-old student. What in the world is going on? I mean, what has happened to our world where we have people that do that and think that's an okay thing?
Yeah, my teachers hardly ever sent me naked photos.
They never did. They never, ever did. Not hardly ever. They never did.
It just
Back
took
then,
a little longer because you had to mail them.
I had to wait for the 1-hour photo guy. Are you a teacher? I see a globe in the background. I don't know what I was going to say. What are those things called? A protractor. You're holding a protractor. I don't know. Let's move on. Mike. No. Who's Mike? Where am I at? Whole different story. Down here. Thomas Markle told reporters that he's been frozen out by his daughter Meghan Markle. So, there you go. That's not good. A Missouri town, a newspaper there, called the Uranus Examiner, is closing because of what they claim are, quote, a bunch of uptight people, end quote. Well, if you weren't going out of business before. Holy cow, that is not the way to handle things. If you're going out of business, you don't say everybody's uptight, it's all your fault. I mean, you just graciously go out of business. That would be the way to do it.
You know what? I think if I had a business that was suffering because a bunch of people were jerks, I'd say something.
A bunch of jerks.
I'd take out an ad in the newspaper.
This is a newspaper, and it's going out of business.
Oh, the newspaper is going out.
Yes.
I thought it was a store going out
No,
of business.
it's a
and
newspaper.
They were complaining.
No, the newspaper is going out of business. It's the Uranus Examiner, or as a lot of the cool kids call it, Uranus Examiner. But my son, who's 22 and super smart, told me it's Uranus. And everybody says it wrong.
The sad thing is about newspapers, people just don't.
We're lazy. We don't read as much as we used to.
Yeah,
it's a whole generation
all of the information
of
is at your
laziness.
fingertips at any second.
Yeah, and everything is so easy to get in so many other places. I got one last story to get to. Nearly 1,000 people were arrested during a violent protest in Paris last Saturday. Holy cow. 1,000? I knew there was the yellow coats.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was that many. I was thinking it was like
and those
50
are just the ones that
people.
were arrested.
Wowzers. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you tuning in on this Movie Star Monday.
Are you trying to find the perfect gift for someone with a good sense of humor? FunkyMonkeyShirts.com has a good selection of funny t-shirts and more. Some with Christmas themes. One that even replaces the ugly Christmas sweater for your next party. Find some silly shirts at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Also, learn how you can sell your own designs to make some extra Christmas cash. There's a link at the bottom of the page at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
It's another Movie Star Monday, and we want to say thank you to Kevin Sorbo for joining us again. We talked last week about a bunch of fun projects, but let's talk about how you got started. I didn't realize this, but when I was reading the info, I see that you're from Minnesota. I'm actually from South Dakota, so we're kind of neighbors. How did you get into the acting career? How did that all come about?
By the way, I give a shout out to Sturgis. My sister lives out there in South Dakota. She's been out there for about 35 years. She was in Deadwood for a long time. Now she's in Sturgis. So.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, you know, and my parents grew up in farms in Iowa, and I was up in Morehead State University in the Fargo-Morehead area, so I got all kinds of connections all around those three states. But, yeah, I was 11 years old. I went to the Guthrie Theater, a very famous theater here in Minneapolis, and fell in love with acting right then and there. I was a jock, but I loved the acting world as well. You know, I was a football, basketball, baseball guy, but I started getting involved in doing drama classes and moved to L.A., not knowing a soul. I just packed up my little car and drove out there and said, here I am, and just worked really hard to get to where I am. And I got the big break, obviously, with Hercules. It became the most watched TV show in the world. People can still see that. They can go to Universal and pick up all 7 seasons on DVD, and they can go to Lionsgate as well. And Lionsgate now owns my Andromeda TV series. But, yeah, I've been hooked on it. Since Andromeda finished in 2005, I just finished my 59th movie, so I've been very busy.
Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. And with all the different projects you've done, which have been phenomenal projects, the movies are great, but still with that television show, Hercules, and the movies that were connected to that, and all of the things that were tied into that, do you still have quite a few people that know you as it's Hercules?
Well, yeah, there's no question. I mean, without the success of that show, I think I just mentioned, I mean, we passed Baywatch by the end of season 4 as the most watched TV show in the world. We were in 176 countries at one time. So it's crazy. It's like I said, it's still on H&I cable, Heroes and Icons cable, and but you know, it used to be Hercules and Andromeda all the time. I got to tell you, most people now through airports, at restaurants, they stop me now and say, "Hey, please make more movies like God's Not Dead and What If and Let There Be Light." And I go, "Well, I'm making them, but you guys get out and support them because we can't compete with these $300 million Hollywood movies. They have $100 million usually to promote these things. So that's why you see their trailers in every movie theater and every television show, every sporting event. You know, they're push, push, push. We got to get, you know, word of mouth, and that's why God's Not Dead became a hit. It just hit the right time, and people word of mouth made that movie a very big hit.
And the amazing thing is, in addition to the first, there have been a couple others from that series, God's Not Dead, which to me, it's heartwarming to know that the movies, faith-based movies, are doing so well that they're investing in more and more of them. I think that is just a phenomenal story that has happened just recently over the last few years, and you played a part in that.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate to be, you know, sort of jumped in there. It was about 8 years ago. I did my first one. It was called What If, and I highly recommend What If. It's the same writer that did God's Not Dead, and personally, I think it's even a better movie. It won the best movie at the Movie Guide Awards. I was very fortunate to win Best Actor in that movie, and What If is just a very touching, wonderful story along with Christy Swanson and John Ratzenberger, and it was directed by Dallas Jenkins, whose father is Jerry Jenkins, who wrote all the Left Behind books. And that really kicked it off for me to want to do more movies like that.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing, because as a parent of some children, my kids are a little older now. I've got a daughter that's a senior in high school and a son that's 22. But I remember when they were growing up, there were many times where you're looking for a movie to watch and you're going, well, probably can't watch this with the kids. No, can't watch this with the kids. There are more choices now. And again, a lot of that is thanks to you and others like you that have been putting the time and effort into making sure that there is some good quality family programming out there.
Well, thanks for that, and I thank you for supporting them and getting the word out to people. Because a lot of people just, you know, like I said, we don't have the big budget to promote these things, and it really just comes down to word of mouth. And it helps to be on shows like yours that get it out there.
Well, we're going to do what we can to let folks know, and I'm going to throw a link to all of the stuff we've talked about in the show notes as well. Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Thank you. KevinSorbo.net. They can find out all kinds of information. They can actually order the book that I have out, True Strength, or they can I can autograph a movie for them as well. KevinSorbo.net. More information there.
We'll throw that in the show notes as well. I'll have a link to everything we've talked about in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Britain's secret service, their secret intelligence service, rather, once hacked an Al-Qaeda website, and they took the instructions for making a bomb, and they replaced them with instructions for baking cupcakes.
Oh, that's
I think
nice.
that's really funny. So instead of just deleting it, and they notice that it's gone, they're like, oh, we'll put something there. So they download the instructions on how to make a bomb. People are like, 2 cups of flour. Wow, this is a really interesting bomb. It was a cupcake recipe. I love that. That is one of my favorite fun facts ever.
FreshPatch.com is making dogs like me happy. They send out real grass pads for us to use indoors. Now when it's cold outside, I can go inside. And when I've used up the real grass patch, the mailman brings me a new Fresh Patch. It's the best idea since doggy treats. Convince your mommy to try it today. I suggest you try Puppy Dog Eyes. FreshPatch.com. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO.
Time now for the grandiloquent word of the day. It is toluteluquent. Toluteluquent. Let me try that again.
Pretty sure you didn't pronounce that one correctly.
Toluteluquent.
Okay.
Toluteluquent.
I have no clue
T-O-L
what that means.
U-T-I-L-O-Q-U-E-N-T. Pertaining to a smooth talker. Apparently I'm not. I'm not even a smooth speaker. I can't barely say these things. Toluteluquent. So it kind of reminds me of eloquent, which is kind of, same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But toluteluquent, pertaining to a smooth talker, also toluteluquent, characterized by fluency or glibness of utterance, rapid and ready of speech. So if you speak really well and speak really fast, you are very toluteluquent.
Alrighty.
And I ain't. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Want to honor a veteran? Consider giving to Veterans Tickets Foundation, a national nonprofit who supports our currently serving military, veterans, and family members of those we've lost in action by providing them with free tickets to sporting events, concerts, performing arts, and family activities. VetTix is dedicated to giving back to those who gave us so much. Learn how you can help at vettix.org. VetTix, TIX.org.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Police in Wisconsin are searching for 2 suspects who allegedly started a brawl at a Cracker Barrel. This happened on Halloween night. Why are we just getting this now? We should have gotten this way back then, shouldn't we? Oh, it says new released footage, so that's why. From the Germantown Cracker Barrel shows a man and a woman approach a manager in the restaurant in the gift shop area, reportedly after the two complained of their service to an employee in the dining area. The argument escalated at the front counter. Another employee, a 16-year-old cook, tried to calm the situation. The man instead reacted by throwing a punch at the 16-year-old.
Oh.
And later tackled a worker and knocked him into a rack of merchandise. The woman, who was with the man, eventually broke up the brawl. Police are asking anyone with information to identify the suspects. They were seen leaving in a gray Mazda. I've got a link to that story. A smackdown
Well, there
at the
you
Cracker
go.
Barrel.
That's not nice.
No, it's not. That's crazy. And you're smacking around a 16-year-old kid? That's bad.
Yeah.
Hope you feel like a big tough guy, because you're not. That's
Typically, you
no.
don't find that sort of a thing at the Cracker Barrel.
I've never
their
seen-
clientele.
Every
is
time
usually
I've
not
been in
the
there-
get in a brawl kind
Every
of
time I've
bunch.
ever been in there, I've been the youngest person there.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
Like, maybe I just hang out at a wrong Cracker
I
Barrel.
mean, any
don't know.
place that sells rocking chairs on their front porch, pretty sure
Usually
it's-
not having a brawl. That's why it's today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Time now for your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. A Florida man was arrested after he allegedly stole 2 pairs of sneakers from a department store minutes after interviewing at the same department store for a job. Dude, they have all your information. You're trying to get a job there. That doesn't make any sense. This was at a Kohl's. According to the local NBC affiliate there, 24-year-old Breedlove, that's the guy's name, that's his last name, Dominique Breedlove, went into the store shortly after his interview Started looking over a Nike display, checking out shoes. Some didn't have security tags. That is when he decided, I'm going to come back with a bag from a previous trip. They were watching him as he stuffed $150 worth of merch into the bag, tried to take off. They caught him. Didn't go well. He said he planned to give those shoes to his mother as a gift.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Well, they were female shoes, so he was going to give them to his mama as a gift. Get the job and buy her the shoes. You think you're getting the job now? No. I'm sorry. We can't hire you. We just arrested you.
We
Bad
clearly
idea.
don't trust you.
No. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Every day, approximately 23 U.S. military veterans take their own lives. Big Paws Canine Foundation is helping to decrease that number, providing service and companion dogs to our disabled veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Partnering a hero with a specifically trained dog significantly reduces the incidence of suicide, and your support makes all the difference. Find out how you can help our American heroes. Join the pack at BigPawsCanine.com.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. A story here where I have to ask my beautiful bride, is this a true story that happened in the great state of Florida? Or do we make it up just to trick you? Here's the story. A candidate who was running for the House of Representatives claimed that aliens abducted her. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
It's a true story. Florida. That really, truly happened. I have a link to that story if you want to read
I
it.
just watched a Frasier episode the other day.
We did
that
too.
was like
I was with you, I guess.
Yes, you were
When
with
I say
me.
we did too, I mean...
I watched it with you.
I was there. Same kind of thing happened.
Yeah,
All right.
it was hilarious.
I've got a link to that in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Good news is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. I love this story, Heidi. A veteran who was given 4 months to live, transformed a polluted creek, and then lived another 27 years longer, and they think mainly because of that.
Holy cow.
John Beal was able to make it home to his family after the Vietnam War. He was still in dire straits, not because of gunfire, but because of his health. Well, it says here he settled in Seattle, Washington. He suffered 3 heart attacks within a year of returning from the war. And at the VA, they told him that he had PTSD. The doctor said that he only had about 4 more months to live. And they said, I really think you should just get a hobby and do something that makes you happy. So his hobby was, you know what? Ham Creek. It is such a mess. I'm going to do something about that. So he went to Ham Creek, this yellow water sullied by a nearby sewage plant, filled with broken cars and dead fish and rotting debris. And he started tidying this thing up. And he says, he thought, well, I did a lot of damage in Vietnam. Why not clean up where I am now before I pass? He thought this was going to be a 4-month thing. Well, it turned into way, way, way more than 4 months. 27 years
amazing.
added to his life. He did pass away, but it was 27 years later, and there's an amazing story here. And I also think that there's an amazing lesson for everybody to learn. First of all, doctors, we love you. I mean, absolutely, positively. Love what doctors do, but sometimes doctors are wrong.
Yep.
So there are people who lose hope because the doctor says, well, get ready for the end. It's here, 27 years later. He was given 4 months, 27 years later. And I think a miracle happened when he changed his whole thought process of, I'm not living for me anymore. I'm going to do something about this. And I've got a purpose. I've got a reason. And I think so many times, you'll see somebody who they'll retire from their job, or their spouse will pass away, or there's something that happens, and then very shortly after they're gone as well. And I think a lot of it is kind of they lose their will to live, and I think that's really sad. So this is such a great story, and if you have a moment, if you want to read it, I've got a link to the entire thing in the show notes. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Bye, everybody. That's in the show notes, and all the other fun stuff in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.